Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Minecraft. Today is our final episode of building up our village transformation for our Minecraft 1.14 village. And oh my gosh, I am so excited to be saying that. I am super excited to be finishing up this project and moving on. It has been awesome working throughout this entire village here, customizing this entire place into something completely unique, which has been absolutely awesome. But you get to that point with every single project in Minecraft where you're like, you know what, this has been fun so far, but I am really ready to move on. It's really fun working on the project and it's great seeing it completed, but I feel like for me personally, I get to like the last 20% or so of a project and I'm just like, man, is it done yet? I want to go, all these new ideas are popping through my head, all these other things that I want to work on and move forward with, and all those great things going there. And it's like, God, I gotta finish this one up first. So today, we're going to be finishing this project up. Last episode, however, we were able to come through here and add on about 6 or so new houses into our village, which was super sweet. We got a bunch of new ones built up there. We built up a guard shack. We built up a few more houses down by our sheep pen, expanded the shrunk down the sheep pen, cleared out all of our iron golems, and did a bit of general work around the place, really finishing off a lot of the final detail bits. Today, however, we are going to be starting with finalizing the detail bits on the outside of, hey Mr. Sheepy, on the outside of our village, because we have all these berry fields out here that are just looking absolutely awesome, stretching across the distance, way off over yonder, but we kind of just stop with a block right here. So I would love to be able to, we're just going to leave this house as is, by the way, but I would love to be able to extend this berry field out over here, get a few pathways figured out through it, stretching that all the way up until the hill starts to rise up into this dark oak forest. And then we also have a small area over here past where this little river is running through, which is coming from that mystical pond up on top of the hill by the witch's hut. And we have this whole area down here with apparently a wandering trader where we need to customize this out, terraform it out a bit, smooth it out, and get some berries planted in down here. So I think we're going to start off with a time lapse for today's episode to get everything worked out on the outside. So I'll catch you all on the other side. Cornflowers, that this trade from the wandering trader really has me tempted to spend a bunch of emeralds on freaking cornflowers. For our final berry fields here, I wanted to split this area up into 3 different sections on this side, and then we're going to do 2 sections over on that far final area. One thing that I really want to stress on this one is we don't need berries in every single slot. You'll see throughout the fields that we're doing here that there's a lot of grass and a lot of ferns and occasionally some leaves mixed into it, because otherwise it's just a solid chunk of that dark, cooler green that we have for the berry bushes here, and it really does not look that great. So incorporating a lot of leaves and things like that just to mix it up helps it look so much better. So if you guys are trying to make your own giant berry fields, definitely add a lot of variation into these ones. I've kind of found that's the way to make them look good. If it's purely just berries everywhere, it looks really bland and really boring. So through here in this last final spot, I wanted to fill this little tiny valley area with our final fields in here. And I ran out of berries, and a great thing about berry fields is you can just go run around and right click on a bunch of the other bushes like you've seen us doing here, and come back, plant some more, and then go back and do that again, and they've grown. Coming back into this region, I am so happy that we have all these berries planted in here. It's looking pretty awesome. I gotta say, just getting the outside finished up here is really great. One thing I do want to come back in with, though, is we forgot to bring in our jungle leaves. I feel like the jungle leaves really started to add to the environment as like a sort of a bush going around the entire area. I didn't add as many ferns in as we have been adding previously, just because they take so much more time to throw in there, because you can't just bone meal up a bunch of the ferns. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this outside. I think things are finally starting to trend towards completing up. It feels so much more completed from the outside, like looking in. There's only a few houses that need to be finished up, which we're going to be getting over here too soon, but I'm going to go ahead and get quite a few of these jungle leaves around. I think that'll probably be good for those right there, and we'll be able to do a lot of good stuff with that. One thing I did want to mention, though, that we'll be working on next is this front house over here. A lot of people in the comments mentioned that we shouldn't do a house here. We should do a stables. Like a small lean-to stable structure that's kind of coming back into here, so it's against like we can turn this into a small hilly cliffy something or another over there, and add an area where people can park their horses, because right now we don't really have a place besides the sheep pen over here. Speaking of which, our horse is in there right now, so I think we can get a place for some horses to chill in here. I can't even begin to tell you all how excited I am to be getting out of this village here soon. Like, I love working here. I absolutely love working here. It's been so fun doing this transformation, but wearing headphones while trying to work out here has been such a pain. I never thought I'd be at a point where I'm like, I just want to play Minecraft on mute. Oh my gosh, villager sounds are driving me absolutely insane, but I feel like I need to have everything here listening in so I can at least pay attention to everything going on and kind of see and hear for creepers and all those other things like this. But oh my gosh, I am so ready to be done with this. Over here, what we're going to be doing, like I was mentioning, is we're going to be building up some stables. I wanted to have a small cleared out area where we could throw 2 horses in here probably. We'll have 2 different stalls at least. This is meant to be a pretty small structure because we don't want to be dwarfing that stuff over there. Then I was thinking we could bring in some spruce fences and kind of dot them along here, and that'll be kind of the way it goes. There's going to be a small, I guess you could call it a tack room right over on this area right here in the corner. And then we will peak this roof up here, probably with just some half slabs to make it a little bit taller here in the center. And I think it'll really help itself come together. So the plan, I don't have any slabs on me right now, but I think we're just going to do a little oak roof on here to make sure it's small and fits the theme of everything going on. We'll get some detail work done in this whole area, but it's meant to be really basic. Just a lot of hay bales lying around, basically. So we'll see how this one turns out here. And there we go. We got a roof on. It's basically just, like I said, oak slabs going all the way up here. I started adding in a few little detail bits. I brought in some lanterns here on the front because I thought that looked super cool. Then brought in one of our brown beds here as a bench. Brought this out a little bit further so we have a bit more space in here for some storage blocks and things like that. I thought one cool thing to add in here would be a grindstone as a way they can work on the horse's shoes and whatnot. Thought that'd be kind of a cool one. I didn't bring anything else on me really for some reason, but thought that'd be a good way to get ourselves started. Then I was thinking over here to give ourselves a bit more depth so it's not just flat across the front. We basically can have these guys here as our way of getting in and out, and we should have enough space. If we drop both of those, you could get a horse out over the top of them, and we should be good on that. Then inside of here, to give ourselves a lot more space on one side, I was thinking we could do this. So we can start by just creating a bit of a border area for where the horses can kind of look throughout each other so they can see each other, but they can't access the different sides. I love this being a bit of a horse wall, I guess you could call it. For everybody in there. And then we do need to have some way of getting some hay bales up here so that they can have some food. And I was thinking like lifted up here would probably be the best way to do it. So if we do something like there, and then maybe we actually bring this one out to being too wide here and making it a little bit more, makes sense a little bit further. We can use the oak ones on the side there, and I did not mean to go into crawling way. And then we can do this guy right there, that guy right like that, and these are kind of holding them up, and this gives it a space so they can eat from there, and the trainers and everything can restock it more easily, or whoever's tending to the stables. With 2 horses moved over from the sheep corral or the sheep pen, this area is looking so much more completed. These guys love it in there. Our horsey over here is jumping around like crazy. He's absolutely loving it. In here, we got a few detail bits with some hay bales up top, some more crates and things back there, some more storage over on this side, and we got a few crates. This is something that I absolutely love. This little detail right here, if you have a bunch of crates, maybe you have some extra ones that are more run down or that aren't really used that often and they're just kind of thrown around to the side. Throwing them out in the grass a little bit on the edge, only if you're on the edge, not in the middle. Like if the grass was growing up over in this area, that wouldn't make too much sense because this is obviously something where people are constantly moving. These crates are coming in and out, but these ones over here are just sitting. They're not really doing much. So having a little bit of grass growing up over them is a really cool way of kind of making it feel more nested in the environment. Now, this random stair here, if any of you guys have went horseback riding in your life, you know that getting on a horse can be a pain in the butt because they're pretty tall animals. We have the stair here. It's kind of like a little bit of a step stool for villagers to get up here, and then they can just do a little hop on top of their horsey and right off into the distance. Those things used to be everywhere. If you look at pictures of like old towns and things like that, those things used to be everywhere, especially in like the Midwest and everything like that, and the old Wild West and all that good stuff. They were everywhere. We are on the home stretch now. I am super pumped for this. We got that house right there, and we got this big guy right down there that you can kind of see poking up there. What we're going to be tackling, just moving on down the street, is this one here next. Originally, I had designed this to have a tower on the corner here. I'm thinking that it might be cool to turn this into like a secondary guard post that's owned by just a villager. So I was thinking we could go ahead and throw one of these stone brick towers that we included in the last episode. That guy just on the far side over here, maybe we'll make like a wooden variant of it, just some sort of a watchtower. So I'm going to get to work on that one. I modified the roof on the front of this one to match the style we've went with everywhere else pretty much. And I've been messing with this watchtower design here for the back. So to shrink this thing down so it's not super out of scale, originally we had that 3x3 base, and that felt a little too large for me, but I also didn't want this to be just a 4x4 box. So what I brought in here, or what I decided on, is we're going to have these full blocks on the corner like we have right now. And then on the insides, right like these things, we're actually going to be using trapdoors. So it feels a lot skinnier. It still feels like there's a lot of depth to it. There's not too much going on with this one. And it still feels like a structure. It still feels substantial from the outside, which is just great. And we can actually, now in 1.14, you can put ladders on the inside of trapdoors. So we can come up the side of this thing on the inside with a bunch of ladders to get ourselves all the way up to the top here. As long as you don't open up the trapdoor again, you're actually totally fine and they're not going to get freaked out at all. What I was thinking after that, now that we're up here though, is we have a great opportunity to expand upon this area a little bit further. We're basically at the height right now where we're a little above where basically everything else is lining out here. And so I was thinking we could probably extend this out a bit. What we've done over there is we've used 2 steps going out every single distance, but I think that's a little too much. So I don't think we're going to go quite that extreme. So what I was thinking is here to bring this stuff out. That's not a stair block. But here to bring this stuff out on the side, I was thinking we could do some stairs creeping around the middle like this to help widen that base out and make it naturally look like it's getting larger instead of just going from trapdoors into full block like we accidentally placed there in the beginning. And then also to help this feel like it's still substantial and growing from everywhere else, we can do the upside down stair into a full block on these corner bits, which I think will help around everything else out there and give it a bit more depth overall. So that's kind of the plan for now. I'm completely winging this thing as we go throughout it, so please don't try and copy this or think that I'm a genius here for whatever we're doing. I have no idea what's going on here, and that's half the fun of building in Minecraft. So we'll see how this one turns out. It's never a bad idea to take a step away and look at your build. Like, we don't have to stay on top of the tower the entire time and build everything out. And I feel like it's a little chunky on this top bit right there. I feel like it's almost just too much spruce, and with those trapdoors coming out right there, that's a lot of it. So what we could do is drop that stair block down actually to like right there. So we're actually at a lower level than where these sticky outy ones are. And then we do full block, and we could bring that out and even it out a bit more. I think that might be better. And then on top of that, I'm thinking at these sticky outy bits right there and there, we're actually going to bring in some barrels. I know more fishermen inside of the village, but I think that's going to be a great detail bit that we can add in. Okay, I really like the barrels on there on the corner, but this is still feeling too chunky, so I think it's back to the drawing board with that one. Somebody call Scar. I think Jelly's in a little bit of trouble over there. I've been working on the tower though. It's starting to look really sweet. I'm working on another upper section. So we have this smaller section right here in the center where you have kind of a lookout area between some fences. Then I want to have a way for some air and sunlight to come in through an upper section up above it because, you know, it's a watchtower. So obviously we need great airflow in here. So I'm working on a small little trapdoor one up there at the top, and it's looking really sweet so far. I'm really happy with this one. I definitely need to figure out how I want to bring the top of this in here together because we are on a 2x2 width, which is working out so pretty well so far, but I'm trying to figure out a way that we can make it more interesting. I am running dangerously low on oak slabs, so we got a bit of oak wood on us. Let's just craft up a few more of them. But what I'm doing here is basically like starting to bring ourselves together, like I was saying. And I'm thinking on the corners, we can start with bringing just some slabs here like this to bring everything in. And then if we just do like a stair, slab, and a stair, and we can really start to narrow this one down here. I'm okay with this being a little bit flatter on top. A lot of the roof structures in this area that we've been using so far aren't super elevated. They're all very flat and slabby, and the only pointy thing in the whole area, I guess, is that guy right there. And then our church as well has some cool spikes on top of it, but that's because it's the church. It's supposed to feel a lot more unique than anything else we have in this area. So it's okay that this is all kind of flattened out. It doesn't probably look the best overall. Like, if this isn't specifically what I was going for, I definitely would not be choosing this, but it's part of our style, and it's okay to have your build fit a weirder version of a style than what you've been doing previously for the sake of it all being cohesive. It's okay if a few parts are kind of more on the interesting side, which is going to be at the top of this tower here. Probably is going to look a little derpy, and that's a little too flat for me. As I'm like, it's okay, it's totally fine. I think we need to probably lower that guy down, or what we need to do here is replace these with some full blocks and then bring ourselves, that's not a full block, and I'm just going to lose that one. but it was just a little too flat coming into a point there in the center. Now, as I mentioned, it's okay for things to look a little weird. Basically, what I did was change those stairs in there out to being full blocks, and that's a heck of a lot better. It helped to round it out. It was just feeling like flat and a little dimple and then flat. So we fixed that one going forward, and we are down to one structure left, and oh my gosh, that is great. However, this one over here is a big boy. It is a very large structure, and I wanted to bring it out so it sticks out all the way back in here. We had that pig and villager sty back in this area. This dude is sleeping with the piggies every night. And it was supposed to come out all the way over to here, so it extends a bit further than that one. I like the general house that we have with this one, with this front balcony area. I definitely want to keep that going, and this kind of sticking out there, and then a longer one similar to what we have on here. I think that's a great style to move forward with. I got to put my thinking cap on for this one, though, and see what we can come up with. I think we might honestly do like an M-shaped roof up there, so we can keep that same roof style going. This will be an interesting. I thought for our final house here, it'd be kind of cool to do it through a time lapse of just flying through everything, of all the culmination of everything we have done so far. This is the final house that we have to build, and that is so freaking exciting. I want to make this one a little bit more unique and different than everything else, so we're going with a slightly different style, still keeping that same Tudor-esque vibe here, but incorporating a lot more oak and not windows on every other block, which I thought was a good way to mix it up here. And then we throw a small little field down in that back corner. And there we have it. We are finally done with every single structure in this entire village. I want to give you all a quick glimpse of what we had over here. I brought in a bunch of these little flowers over here that we've made and just decorated this area out with a bit of a flower garden on this back side. One thing that was bugging me up here is this guy, if we can get right up here, is how bland these little sections are there. Like, we got a little half slab on that one, but up here is pretty bland. So I was thinking we could just bring up a few ladders and dot them in over on these like open spots that we have, and we can get a better view of it right over here if we take a step backwards and jump on top of the roof over here and do some parkour action. Yes, yeah. That's a lot better. I like that a lot more right there. That's really sweet. And I want to take one final look while we're way over here with the skyline, see what everything's looking like, and that really adds to it. That's a little plain right there, so maybe we can bring in a few of the ladders in there as well and see kind of what we can do with that section. There's a few last detail bits I want to do around the village, but I'm like 99% of the way there to calling this one completed. So let me get these last few details in here and I'll be back with y'all. Tweaked a few things around the village here and there, just small little details that you guys will be able to explore in the download, which there actually is going to be a download for this one over on the Patreon page for now. And then what I do outside of that to make sure everybody still has access is every 25 episodes in the survival world, I put out a world download as well for everybody to grab. But as soon as we finish a project, I like to get that out on the Patreon page as well. So if you guys are interested in that one, check that out below. Otherwise, this is episode number 14 of season 2. So 11 more episodes to go and we'll get a world download out of here. So that's probably another month or so down the road. That being said, though, I really love this chimney we added on there. I think that broke up that area very, very well. And with that, I got to start doing some packing. We're moving out. We are moving out of our village here, which I'm very excited about. We are quickly moving on to the next destination to get a lot more things going. And this is my storage room right now. It is pretty disgusting. It's not as bad as some that I've seen. I will say that's not the worst, but for me, this is pretty bad. So I'm going to try and find a comment or question of the day of whatever I can do while cleaning up this mess, and I'll be back with y'all in a sec. Welcome on back, everybody. We are over here in the desert because we're going to be finishing this episode off, and this is where we're going to be starting up in the next episode. I have decided that instead of jumping straight into those castle ruins that we've been talking about doing, I think I'm going to need to have a smaller project that we can tackle in the meantime, which I'm thinking this village right over here is going to make a great... Ooh, that's... we're in a hole. I'm thinking this village over here is going to make a great like mini project that we can work on. I want to take it from being this village right here and completely ruin it and take it away from being an acacia like savanna village over here and turn it into like some slums for our desert city, but like completely ruin them and make it look like the pillagers came through and completely raided the thing and destroyed it all. So hopefully y'all are excited for that one. I think that'll be really cool. And then we can do a few episodes as well over on the archaeological dig site of where we found that fossil. So let me know which one of those you guys want to be seeing first. And then after we finish up both those, we'll be moving over to doing the castle ruins And probably in between somewhere in there, we'll be doing some stuff over in the port city as well, because it seems like a lot of people want us to get back over to some of the original projects. So I'm very happy to be able to jump back around and do a bunch of those things here. But for today, we got a commenter question of the day here ready to go. This one is coming in from Benjamin Farrow, and it's kind of inspiring what I was previously talking about of turning the Acacia Village into ancient ruins or some sort of ancient landmark. It'd be cool. It would add a cool element to the world and a hint of history as well, and the archaeological site would be awesome as well. So, you know, that's kind of what we're going to be doing. I really want to take this area over here and turn it into those ruins like they were mentioning there, and I think it'd be cool to go with that idea of the Pillagers 1, and basically what happens if you lose a Pillager raid. So I think that'd be really cool to kind of explore those ideas and turn it into some slums areas and make it look like some people are trying to live in there and they don't really even have roofs on the houses and things like that. Maybe they've thrown up some canvases and tarps and things like that to protect themselves from the harsh sun over in the desert. And I think that'd be a good way to go moving forwards. We got a lot of mini projects that we're going to be working on here. We got to finish up this roadway here so it's not just path block randomly going through a desert as well. But that is going to have to do it for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed the village transformation we've been doing over the last few weeks here. Please hit that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you on the flip side.